Because you guys always hear me talk about how I love thrillers, but you mostly see me read romances, here are some thriller recs for you guys. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sheldina, but honestly, if you call me any variation of my name, that's fine. So the first one is Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. And this one follows a mom who watches her son kill someone, and she is freaked out and obviously scared for his well-being. So she kind of goes to bed and she wakes up and it's the day before it happens. So she is like, what's happening? And every day she goes to sleep and she wakes up, it's more and more days in the past. And so she figured this must be happening in order for me to stop him from killing that person, whoever it is, because she don't even know who the person is, to be honest. She just doesn't want her son to go to jail for something crazy. So she did notice there was a change in him, you know, like as she started going back, she really starts noticing like, hey, my son is slowly changing. How did I not notice this the first time? I was so caught up in my own world. So she starts trying to like essentially bring back her son and like save him from himself. And I thought this was very good. I don't remember what I rated it. I read it last year or the year before, I can't remember, but I really enjoyed it while I was reading it. I don't typically like time shifting or time bending. It can confuse me sometimes because I'd be like, well, if this happened and if this changed, and but I enjoyed this one a lot and I would actually recommend this one. Off the Deep End by Lucinda Berry. To my understanding, every book she writes is great. However, this is the only book I've read by her. So this one follows a mom who is driving her son and his close friend home from practice, and there's a deer on the road. She swerves to avoid the deer. They end up in water. She saves what she thought was her son. She could only save one, I'm assuming. And she tried to save her son. When she gets to the shore, she realized she saved his friend and not her son. And she is dealing with the guilt of that, but also their relationship, you know, survivor's guilt, and they're connecting in that way. And so it becomes a lot more weird. It gets really weird, but I recommend it. It's a really quick read. It was easy to fly through and it was entertaining pretty much the whole way. This was good. I just recently read this, but The Stolen Hours by Alan Eskins. This follows a serial killer, so you follow his POV. You also follow one of his victims' POV. You follow the attorneys, the detectives' POV. I think that's all the POVs we get. But it's a courtroom drama thriller, so most of it is, you know who the serial killer is, you know what he's done. It's just a matter of, is he gonna get away with it, and is he gonna go to jail, or what kind of evidence are they gonna find, how are they gonna nail him? And this was so well done and I enjoyed it so much. I know not everyone is into like a courtroom drama, like we want to see it progress to see who it is, but sometimes knowing who it is up front can do you just right. But I enjoyed this. I really loved it. It was my first book by Alan Eskins and definitely won't be my last. The Girl on a Train by Paula Hawkins. Now, this one was good. At the time, I think I rated it 4.5 or 5 stars. I don't think 5, I think 4.5. It might have been 5. I think I was being a little generous, but I was still recommended. It was still a good book. I was just being a little generous. But this follows a woman who travels by train to get to work, and every day on the train she sees this house where there's a couple who kind of have coffee outside, and she's just invested in their life because, I mean, she sees them all the time. But then she sees on the news that the wife has gone missing, and they're accusing the husband, because it's always the husband, of getting rid of his wife. And so she felt like she needed to help the husband clear his name because she saw the love between them, and she was like, it's impossible. There's no way he could have killed his wife. I watched them every day on the train. I know he loved her. She has now inserted herself into his life and helping him like figure out behind the scenes what really happened to his wife, so that way they could tell the detective that it was not him. I thought it was good. Also, I think people should just learn how to mind their business. But it was good. Allegedly by Tiffany D. Jackson. This one is my favorite book by her. I've read like 3 books by her, but this one is my favorite. So this follows a young woman who is, I believe, 17 at the time, but when she was 10, she was accused of killing a baby that her and her mom was babysitting. She's been in a detention center kind of thing. I think she went to jail. She is out on halfway house with other girls who have done, you know, bad things, and they're talking about it, and they're looking at her like she is crazy, because although they have done bad things, no one has killed a baby. So you follow her and her trying to get her life together, and whether she did it or not. I thought it was good. It is YA. Tiffany D. Jackson, I think, only writes YA. So, but I would recommend. It was good. Now this next one, Strange Sally Diamond. This one I think is considered a thriller. However, it is more character driven. I would almost call it a domestic fiction, if anything. But this was very good. Like, immediately it starts with Sally, who found her dad dead of natural causes, but she's a little bit peculiar, so she does not know what to do with him dying. She's very antisocial, so instead of calling the police, because she's not aware that that's the protocol, she disposes of his body in a trash chute, one of those that compresses and decomposes. So that's what she does with his body. They later found out, because the neighbor, you know, I guess they were taken out. I forgot how they found out, but the police questioned her. They immediately realized that she didn't kill him, but the story follows her journey and finding out secrets about her own life and learning how to communicate with people and grow, because all she's ever had was her little bubble of a family, and again, no social cues and no social awareness. So she really grew in here. So if you like a character driven book, I think you'd like this book. If you're looking for just thrills, probably not the best book, but very character heavy and very good. I mean, there were twists in here that we did not see coming, so it was a thriller, but more character focused. One of my favorite books, The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I love Riley Sager. This one follows Kit. She was suspended from her job for something questionable. When she comes back to work, she's a home health aide, so she has to go take care of a woman who was accused of killing her entire family, and she is reluctant. She doesn't want to do it, but what other choice does she have? I mean, her boss is not going to give her any other assignment, because nobody wants this job. He doesn't really want her working for him, period. So he's giving her the job that nobody wants. So she goes up on the hill, and the woman who is accused of killing her entire family has not spoken in years since that has happened. She's incapable of talking due to medical issues. And so she starts writing to Kit through a typewriter about what happened. And when I tell you the twist that was happening in this book, it was so twisty. I mean, I've never read a book, I think, with that many twists and turns. It was really good. I enjoyed the out of this book. I really did. I gave this book 6 stars. I obviously can't give it 6 stars on like those platforms, but in my head it got 6 stars. It was very good thriller. 0 Days by Ruth Ware. This is my only Ruth Ware book, and this is the reason I got 2 more on my TBR. But this one follows a woman who is doing a hacking job with her husband, and they get caught. And she goes to jail, but in the middle of being in jail, her husband is killed, and she comes out, and they're obviously accusing her of doing it. So she runs and she is trying to figure out what really happened to her spouse, because, you know, she's grieving him, but at the same time she has to clear her name because she was in jail, but they think she put a hit out on him. So it was, I thought it was really good. I enjoyed this one a lot. In the beginning when they were hacking, I was like, ooh, what kind of, you know, like, but that was short-lived, but I enjoyed this book a lot. Recommend it. I Let You Go by Claire McIntosh. This one was very good. The twist happened midway through the book. This follows Jenna, who leaves her life behind, and she is dealing with the memories of her lost child and her old life that she's trying to escape. And at the same time, it follows the detective who is working the case of a 5-year-old boy who was hit in a hit and run. And I can't explain any more of the book without giving it away, but the way it connected was very good. And this book was just phenomenally written. It was very good. I enjoyed this one a lot. The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I feel like everyone has read this book at this point and everyone talks about this book, but I really enjoyed this book. This was the first Frida book that I read. This one follows Millie, who gets a job being a nanny for this rich family, and the wife is making her life miserable. Everything Millie does is incorrect. She tells her to wash the clothes. She does it, then she gets mad that she washes it. So I'm just like the whole time like, girl, leave. No job is worth it. But at the same time, Millie is a felon, so she feels her choices are limited, so she's just dealing with it. And when I tell you this book takes a turn, I don't know why I didn't see it coming. I felt like if I read other Frida books before I read this one, I would have been like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But this was the first one I read, so I did not see what I did not see. You know what I mean? But I enjoyed this one a lot. I enjoyed the second one, I think, even better, The Housemaid's Secret. Some people do and some people don't, but I would recommend this book. Whatever. Razor Blade Tears by S.A. Cosby. This one was very good as well. Anything by S.A. Cosby, and you'll see, is worth reading. This one follows two dads whose sons were married to each other, and neither dad was comfortable with the idea that their sons were gay. But when their sons were both murdered, they band together, and I believe they're both felons, the dad. And they get together to avenge their son's death. And this is so good and so thrilling. Very action-packed. S.A. Cosby writes the most action-packed thrillers. Like, if they don't become books, I mean movies, I don't know. But it was very good. And obviously, topics in here were discussed, and them coming to terms with, obviously, their own hatred was amazing. I enjoyed this a lot. With that being said, the next book I would recommend by S.A. Cosby is Blacktop Wasteland. And this one, again, they're crime thrillers, I believe is what they're classified as. This one, in the beginning, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this, because they were talking about cars and racing, and it gave Fast and Furious vibe. And I was like, I just don't know if that's something I want to read in a book. But when I tell you it was so much more than that. Now, this one follows a guy, I forgot his name, but it follows him. He's a getaway driver. He went to jail for it. He come out, he's getting his life together. And his wife was like, no more. And so things happen to where he's pulled back in and he has to do one quick job. And it gets so good and so crazy. But again, it is action packed. If these books don't become movies, I don't know what we're doing. I don't know. Speaking of that, I feel like lately there's been like no new movies that are like really, really good. You know what I mean? I feel like they're just doing a bunch of remakes. I was telling my husband, there is no reason why we should have about 5, 6, 7 remakes in the theaters right now when we could be making new movies. So this needs to become a movie. Come on, let's do it. Let's get it together. One I just recently read is The Butcher by Jennifer Hillier. And this is one of those where you know who the serial killer is, and you're just following his internal monologue along with other characters. So it also follows Sam, whose mom was killed by the butcher, who she believes was killed by the butcher. And so she's trying to write a novel about it. And she is speaking to her boyfriend's grandfather, who was the chief of police, and he's kind of helping her. But little does she know, he is the butcher. I'm telling, I'm not spoiling anything because we know about it like not page one, but you know, pretty quickly on. And so even with knowing that, there was still some twists that happened in here. That it was a twist, I think, like, I don't know, quarters of the book. But I read this as a buddy reread, Ange, and we both enjoyed it so much. She messaged me and she was like, let me know when you get to page 9. And I was like, what's gonna happen on page 9? Mind you, I got to page 8 and I was reading it, but I glanced at page 9 and I was like, what is Ange talking about? It's like 5 lines on page 9. What could possibly happen? And then it happened and I was like, God damn. And so I immediately messaged her back and I was like, girl, what in the world? But anyway, again, it's dark, but it is good. I actually like following the minds of the serial killers in the books. I think it's an interesting turn and an interesting take. With that being said, we disliked every character in the book because some characters was dumb, made dumb decisions, did dumb things, and then other characters were very, very awful people. It was very hard to like anyone in here. I mean, we were so disgusted with the serial killer. So, but overall, the book was done very well. I enjoy this. I would also recommend, I forgot, Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. This one was the book that got me back into reading as an adult. This one follows a mom who lost her 13-year-old daughter years ago. It went unsolved, and now present day, she gets with a man whose daughter looks a lot like her missing daughter. It obviously isn't her missing daughter because the child, I believe, is like 10, I think. And so she starts like kind of getting attached to this child, but not really. But it is so good. It is dark. Check your trigger warnings, but very well done. This is one of my favorites. Another one is also by Lisa Jewell, and that is None of This Is True. I don't have a physical copy, but that one follows I'm laughing because it's hilarious. That one follows 2 women who meet at a restaurant. They are both celebrating their birthday. They are birthday twins, as one of them calls it. She goes to the restroom to tell the girl happy birthday. They realize they are the same age and they were born in the same hospital. So she feels as though they need to meet again. And the woman is doing a podcast. So she was like, let's talk about being birthday twins on your podcast. But when I tell you stuff starts unraveling, one of the women, the one not conducting the podcast, is like really weird. And some things start happening surrounding her. And it was so good, but so funny. And I love funny that is subtle and not in your face funny. Like, it's not meant to be a comedy, but it's still funny. That's my favorite. And I enjoyed that book so much. If there's any thrillers that you recommend I read, drop them down below. If there's any thrillers you want me to read and let you know if I recommend them, let me know. But as always, thanks for watching. Happy reading. Bye.